Hey, good Thursday morning, everybody. It's meteorologist Brad Panovich. Update on Hurricane Delta. We're going to talk a lot about the impacts here locally, but I do want to focus a little bit on what's going to happen in the Gulf of Mexico. The good news for us, we're going to see very small impacts compared to what's going to happen on the Gulf Coast. So let me show you what's going on right now. The hurricane is getting bigger, and what I mean by that, the size, it's getting in aerial extent, it's getting much larger, which means it's going to push a lot of water, and it's also going to spread the wind field out. Also notice near the center, you could start to see the formation of it. Looks like an eye forming right now. Let's go in closer and I'll show you the high res imagery. You could see we've got these thunderstorms. We call these hot towers, which are these thunderstorms that are developing in the eye. So we're starting to see some intensification here. This is going to become a major hurricane here, probably later today or at the latest, later tonight. Let me show you the latest track. And again, this just came down from the Hurricane Center. Does have it strengthening to a Category 3 and then making landfall in southwest Louisiana. Let me show you that close-up view here. And again, this is about 15 miles difference from where Hurricane Laura made landfall. Now, it's technically a weaker system, but the storm surge could be almost identical. I think the winds will be a little bit less, but this area has already been devastated by one hurricane, so the infrastructure buildings obviously can't withstand any winds, let alone 105-mile-an-hour winds. So this is bad news, a second hit for these locations on the Gulf Coast. And then moving inland, the storm does weaken and dissipates over Tennessee, so it never really makes it further northeast. But we're still going to see some of the remnant moisture here in the Carolinas, which means some rainfall this weekend. So what happens as this moves our way? Let's look. We'll look at the short range guidance first, just to give you an idea on what kind of weather we're going to see here in the Carolinas. So I'm going to go through time. I'll go through today, and I'm going to stop this tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So here's 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Notice our storm, very tight storm here. We've got high pressure over Virginia. So what this means for the Carolinas is likely dry conditions. You can see some moisture showing up on the modeling, but here's the thing, the air is pretty dry, so a lot of this is probably not going to be reaching the ground. It probably is just clouds, to be honest with you. So as we go through time, you'll see that that moisture starts to slowly increase here in the Carolinas, and eventually I think Friday night into Saturday, we're going to see some rain. But look at that thing heading towards southwest Louisiana. I'll spit it out there. Plowing into southwest Louisiana. And then we go into early Saturday. And while I think this is a little overdone, you kind of get the idea on the weather here in the Carolinas. The system is way down here over Louisiana. High pressure off the east coast. The clockwise flow here is pushing in moisture. The counterclockwise flow around the remnants are the storm are putting moisture, and it's ramping up here into the Carolinas. So what's likely going to happen is we could have some cooler, drier air at the surface, which would lift this air. And typically in this case, what we see is not heavy rain, but a lot of mist and drizzle and light stuff. So Saturday right now looks to be a lot of that. Just light rain, drizzle, and mist. And as we go through time, that moisture becomes a little bit more scattered about. But as we get into Sunday, we're actually going to see the deeper moisture get into the area. What I mean by that is, for us to see some heavy rain, we would have to get into this inflow of moisture, which is wrapping into the storm. That's the deep tropical moisture that's going into the system. So let's switch to a longer range forecast, and I can show you how this unfolds into Sunday. We'll go into Sunday, and so here's Sunday morning. So you can see we start getting into that influx of tropical moisture. These are truly connected to the remnants of what is going to be a remnants of Delta. Initially, a lot of this is just that upslope coming into the Carolinas, but on Sunday, that's when the tropical moisture really starts to come in. And again, Sunday looks more of a washout, like it's more widespread, potentially heavy. And I think the question for Sunday is, do we see thunderstorms embedded in there? If we do, then we could see some heavier rain or maybe even a strong thunderstorm. But if it's rainy and cloudy the whole time, that might not ever happen. So the thing to watch on Sunday is, do we see breaks in the rain? Do we get some heating? If we get that, we could have some issues. So you could see this moving through on Sunday, and then we go into Monday, some lingering showers, and maybe a rumble of thunder, then it moves out. So let me go back here real quickly, because I want to look at something called Thunderstorm Fuel, and you probably see me shown this before. Let's see how much we get up in here for Sunday, and I'll go in through the day. Not a lot. So we're not seeing a lot of thunderstorm fuel. So I'm not overly concerned with any severe weather threat right now. So how much rain are we talking about? Let's take a look. So I like breaking this up into 24-hour segments. So here's the map of our area, total rainfall. You can see this is through Friday morning. This is through Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Notice very light amounts. That's 0.2 of an inch. Let's go through Sunday morning. You could see the mountains start to pile up. And again, remember, what's happening here is this southeast flow and easterly flow is interacting with the mountains here. So those are the areas that are going to see the worst weather as far as all day rains. I don't think even Saturday's all day up there, but it gets worse as the day goes on. Sunday looks pretty nasty. So this is through Sunday morning. This is through Monday morning. So you kind of see that Sunday to Monday time frame is where we have the highest rainfall amounts, and we'll go to Monday and not a whole lot of change. So if you look at these totals just real briefly, you've got a swath here of anywhere from 2 to as much as 4 inches. But across the metro area, it ranges from about 1.5 inches to less than an inch as you get down towards eastern Union County. So there'll be what we call a tight gradient of a lot of rain and not so much rain. So while it's not going to be a great weekend weather-wise as far as sunshine, probably cloudy the entire weekend, the heaviest rain is not going to fall in the Charlotte area or points east. It's likely going to be mainly here in the mountains. But at any time, we could see a passing shower. Now, severe weather threat is very, very low, and there's no wind issues with this at all. So we're not going to see wind. We're not really worried about severe weather right now, though we'll keep an eye on it. I won't close the window on that. It's really just about rain, and even the rain threat does not look like it's going to be a flooding issue. And just to show you the wind potential, not much of it. Now, this is through Saturday night. These are the max wind gusts expected. 5 to 10 miles per hour, maybe some higher gusts in the mountains. So this is not a wind event. It's not even a severe weather event at this point. Really just a rain event. And the rain event, we can handle this moisture, though the areas we'll watch will be up against the mountain. So we'll keep an eye on this system as we go through the next couple of days. But boy, think about the folks on the Gulf Coast. This is going to be another nasty hurricane for Louisiana, and our thoughts and prayers are with them. Of course, if anything changes, I will post updates for the weekend. If you have outdoor plans, please still stay weather aware. Again, these things could ramp up or down for the weekend, but it's looking better for the Carolinas as far as significant impacts, just kind of a rainy, gloomy weekend.